I need someone to explain Democrats to me. Here's the problem. As I've said before, I grew up blue in a blue state. I live on the south coast of Massachusetts, grew up here, and you don't get bluer than how I don't know. I always look away. I don't know why I do that now, because I'm looking at myself instead of a human, I guess. It makes me, when I go to think, I don't know. But, yeah, I grew up completely entrenched in Democrat stuff, Kennedy country, you know, this is just really, I should understand Democrats. I don't. I was raised to believe they were the good guys and they help poor people and minorities, and that the Republicans were bad guys who didn't care about anybody, you know. And then I realized that, you know, kind of all government people suck, and, you know, nobody's really helping anybody. They're helping themselves get elected next time, if anything. But as I said before, around the turn of the century, around 2000, I decided to become unenrolled, meaning I had been a Democrat. I was one of those kids who was told to, you know, register to vote right away. So I registered to vote, you know, before because you register with the idea that you're registering for the next election. So I registered as soon as I could. I voted every time, except the one time I was sick, but that wasn't a presidential election. But I had been a registered Democrat automatically from the beginning, but then I unenrolled and became an independent, like I said, unenrolled around 2000. And, you know, so I started paying attention, started listening to everything. I started trying to vote for the right people. I've been involved. I used to go to public meetings when they were there, and I used to, you know, the issues that were a problem for me, I would try to show up for and say my piece, because I believe that when you're going through something, you know, so are a bunch of other people who aren't saying anything, you know. So I've been involved. I paid attention. I've seen how government does and doesn't work, mostly doesn't work. I've seen how the help can end up harming people. And, yeah. So, as an independent voter, kind of sort of fed up with the Democrats. The day I said no, that's it, was when Obama was president and they got the majority. And I watched Nancy Pelosi walk up, hit the gavel, and they went on vacation. And I said to myself, okay, Republicans would never go on vacation. They would do whatever they could with that advantage. But this is what the Democrats do. They could make everybody get gay married if they wanted. They could do whatever. You know what I mean? Free college for everybody, you know. They could do whatever they wanted. I'm overstating it, but you understand what I'm saying. They just, okay, we have all the power. Let's go to the beach. Let's not do our job now that we have all the power. That was a long time ago. And right then and there, I said, you know, those people are full of crap. All those people who believe in them, all those people, the kind of person I would have been, I still would have benefited if they had done anything worthwhile. And I still would now. But they just don't. They're pretenders, or they're some, I don't even know what this is what I'm saying. I may not be a Republican. I may not like what the Republican lawmakers do and the Republican politicians do. But they make some kind of sense whether I like what they're doing or not. I spend so much time with the Democrats going, what are they, what? Because they do things that don't help anybody. It only pisses people off. I'm like, don't you want to get elected? And it's like they're trying to ruin. If they were a company, you'd be like, are you trying to destroy your own business? Are you trying to basically light yourself on fire? What are you doing? So here we are. People need stimulus checks. The kind of people who voted for Joe Biden, the kind of people who did all the pushing for Georgia and all those other places to be blue, and so that they could have the majority, believed and were told that they were going to get $2,000 stimulus checks. Immediately I understood that Joe Biden, who hadn't been inaugurated yet, had misspoke, and that he didn't mean that, because all the people who were really running things had said 14 plus 600 equals 2,000. They said it right away. They said it before he accidentally said 2,000. But the people who voted for him, the people on the left, they insisted they were getting that $2,000 right away. Okay. Even though I didn't believe that, I did think that they were going to try to give people the 1,400. Maybe not right away, but pretty damn soon. And then there was all this stuff, this talk, the kids wanted to get student loan debt canceled, and like I said, I don't know how they're supposed to do that. Anyway, they made all these promises. Then they made the $15 an hour promise, which I thought they might do. I was against it because I don't believe that helps people, for the reasons that everybody says about people getting fired and having $0 an hour and automation and all that stuff. I believed that before. Nobody had to tell me that. It was obvious to me that that's what will happen if you increase the minimum wage. The minute people started protesting and stuff like that for $15 minimum wage, I don't even remember. That might have been before Trump. That's how long people, they all went outside and marched one day asking for $15 an hour, and I was like, they want to get fired? But anyway, these people believed they were going to get these things. Now here we are. It's March 3rd. There's been no stimulus checks yet. People are waiting. People are depending on them. And now, with all the other insult to injury, with bombing instead, with already saying they're not going to do the $15 minimum wage for the people who wanted it. These people are now understanding they were never going to get $2,000 stimulus checks. I think they understand. Now they're counting on the $1,400. Now today, President Joe Biden is saying that he is okay. He's negotiating with them to have fewer people, or he's already made the decision to have fewer people get the stimulus checks. Why in God's name would they do this? President Biden, the Democrats, President Biden and the Democrats, whoever, they have all the freaking power. The last thing they should do is play games with people. I don't care if they think that people who got the money in the past but made over $80,000 or whatever, if you're a couple, suddenly don't need it. There are people in all the brackets who received that money before who are counting on it now. With the shit that's gone on in the last year, you have no idea what people have been through. If you're trying to get people to file their tax returns early in order to get stimulus or something, if that's what you're trying to do, you should have said that. There's something so underhanded and sneaky and dirty about these people who have always insisted that they were the good guys. They show up with the white hats on, but then in the end, so many broken promises, so much bullshit, but we're in the middle of the biggest crisis. I mean, when was there a bigger crisis? You want to go back to the Depression? No, people were not locked in their homes. People were not made to go insane. Children were not made to kill themselves left and right. You know, people were not. They have done so much damage anyway. And they because this $1.9 trillion package is too much for Republicans or somebody, the part they're going to alter is who gets stimulus checks. Not only do I not understand the government, but these Democrats, they can do whatever the hell they want. And they're doing this. I'm asking somebody to explain them to me. There's no explanation. There's no rationale behind why you would do this to people. Why would you keep people hanging on, have them expecting to receive this check at some time, and at the last minute pull the rug out from people and say, oh no, not you this time? What games are they playing? I understand people with power trips, and it almost seems like there's nobody in charge right now. Like, you know when they say there's too many cooks? It feels like there's no cooks. It feels like everybody left everything on the stove and just went and did some other shit. Like, some of them were playing video games, some of them went to get their hair did, the other ones are taking a nap, and everything, you know, the fire alarm's going off, and everything's bubbling over, and everything's burnt, and it stinks, and the place is going to catch on fire, and they're just like, how can all this stuff be going on? With the retaliation, they said on the news that Biden bombed them to deter retaliation. It's like, what? How did you, oh, you're going to bomb them and they're going to be so scared they're not going to do anything? And I believe that that's true. Not necessarily that it was Biden himself, but whoever's running the show was dumb enough to think that you could just, you know, scare away the bear by making noise or something. Or if they're this inept, I mean, on a good day, you know, 3 years ago when we weren't all locked down and desperate, this would be horrible leadership. People need help. People were freezing to death a week ago. They barely did anything. Explain it to me. I'm suffering. Every day I just have to try to get through the day. I'm not alone. My situation is very particular, but I am not alone. There are all kinds of Americans going through all kinds of crap. And for you to keep moving things around and promising people stuff and say, oh no, we were just kidding. What are you doing? What's in your head? What is your thought process? Because this isn't survival of the fittest. This isn't, oh, well, let's only give my... If you have any... There's no way any of the supposed explanations for this make sense. The only explanation I can come up with is there's some sadistic bastard behind the scenes running the show, telling these figureheads to do these things, and they don't care because they like being famous and they like having their role, and somebody tells them what to do and they go do it. Somebody tells them what to read on a teleprompter, they read it. Somebody tells them what to sign, they sign it. Meanwhile, the sadistic bastard doesn't just want people ruined, doesn't just want people to starve to death. He wants, or she wants, whoever wants, everyone to go insane. They want to break people. They want to take them through as much pain and suffering and emotional anguish as possible. There's no word for this but evil. It's evil. This isn't them trying to placate the other side so later on down the line they'll be able to work together on something. No. You are now fucking with people's heads on top of not helping them to survive, on top of all the shit you've done to them for the last year. It's mind games. It's torture. I mean, there's no reason. You could actually do your freaking $15 an hour thing if you wanted to. You don't want to. Because you're still playing a game. The world is on edge and you're still playing your party games. You still are just trying to win. So while everybody's dying, while people in Texas were freezing to death, while you're sitting here playing with your little bomb, seeing, oh, this sounds like something I should do in my little, I don't know, what was that game? Risk? You playing Risk? This is not a time to be risky. There are actual millions and millions of people who are desperate because of what you've already done. And you're screwing around. I have no idea what the Democrats are thinking. Now, I think they said that the House isn't going to work tomorrow because there's some kind of threat. Everybody else has been teleconferencing. Everybody else has been Zooming. I swear when I put on C-SPAN, I've been seeing people basically doing their job over Zoom. But the House is taking the day off because there's a threat tomorrow? In the middle of all this? That just seems like delay tactics. It seems like a game. Because originally they were saying that it was not until, March 15th. And people started complaining like crazy on social media. Then they started acting like they were going to hurry up. Schumer and all them, they were going to do it this week. Now nobody's going to work tomorrow? Or I don't know how the House wouldn't go, but the Senate can't. I don't know. This isn't, it's nonsensical. It's not just evil. It's not just lies and deceit. You did this to the people who forget about all the Trump voters. Forget about all the Republicans. You Democrats with all the power are screwing over those people who came up and showed up to vote for you. They didn't do anything wrong. You want to hate the rest of us who didn't vote for you? Great. But you're taking a shit on your voters. Why do you think that's okay? I do not understand what's going on in any of your heads. I don't understand what you think you're doing. I don't understand. And when you're going through stuff and you have somebody, bullies or or tyrants or people who, for whatever reason, they have some kind of power over your life, and they play games like this, and you just sit there and you go, why? Why does this person have the power? Why are they able to do this? Why would a just universe allow people like this to hold so many lives in their hand and be so callous and so depraved and so indifferent? I mean, I was so shocked by, I think government's horrible. I think these people don't care about anybody. But I was so shocked by how much they didn't pay attention to Texas and them freezing. There was something about that to me that said I've never seen this kind of complete lack of caring, because that's what it was. So if that was supposed to be my warning, that was what, a week ago? But I can't fathom it. I watch horror movies. I can't fathom what they think they're doing, or how they think they can do this to the people who voted for them, the people who trusted them, the people who believed in them. How can you do that? You're sick. It's sick.